All right. Good morning out there in computer land. This is Anthony Perlo. I'm with Katie Cree, and this is Q&A with RNA. We're going to kick it off. Just a few housekeeping items before we get into it. As I said earlier, your phones are muted. If you have any questions, we will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. We ask you that you use the chat feature, and please send it private, the private chat, so that it doesn't go to the whole group. And we'll make sure to answer them. We're also going to keep a log of the questions so we can disperse them and send them out to clients. Also, another feature that we're doing is we are recording this webinar, and we will make it available to you. After it's done, we're going to send it out. So if anyone ever wants to review it or send it to someone else in the office that was not able to watch it, please do. And let's get rolling, Katie.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to thank you for joining us with our first Q&A with RNA. We hope to hold these once a month on different topics that are associated with your business, both insurance-wise and not necessarily related to insurance. Just a reach-out educational tool for our clients. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. If you have any topics you'd like to see us present on, please feel free to reach out to either one of us, and we will put those on the calendar moving forward. With that, let's get right into our cyber liability webinar for the day.
I'm so excited for this. All right, so here's what we're going to discuss. Cyber liability / data breach. During this webinar, we're going to discuss at a very high level, what is cyber liability? How does an IT breach usually happen? What is at risk for your company? And how can you protect your company? And then what are the solutions? One of them being cyber liability insurance. What does it cover and who does it cover? Those are the main questions. So let's get into it. All right, so what exactly is cyber liability? Cyber liability is a chance that your IT system could be hacked or accessed by an unauthorized user. So that's anyone outside your office that's not supposed to have access to it, gaining access to your data. The data can be client data or employee records. And yes, we've all heard of CryptoLock, where they ransom it, or the data could just plain out be stolen. Now, another part of the cyber liability and the data breach, and a lot of people are just looking at this cyber liability portion, but it's the data breach, and that's the client data that you have on your desk, the paper files that are left out. Now, if they're not protected, and you walk out for the day and someone happens to walk in and you have social security numbers out and they're stolen, that's a data breach. So that's a very high level definition of cyber liability. So Katie, we're talking about cyber liability. My company's bulletproof, okay? No one's getting access to it, not gonna happen. But I keep hearing that, oh, your company's gonna be exposed, your company's gonna be exposed. I don't get it. I need a little help with this.
So even you hear about the big companies, Target got hacked. So if you think you're not at risk, obviously, I doubt you guys have the IT people that Target, Amazon, those carriers, Facebook, those guys have. So there's certainly some things you can do or ways that people can get into your system. Think about the emails that you get every day. How do you conduct your business through email?
Katie, that's funny because I actually had a friend who got an email from a client, and they wound up opening it, and it was a virus, and it attacked the whole system. And he's like, it was just from a client. It wasn't.
And we get emails every day from our clients, honestly, in the office that can tell that they didn't send it. We get an email that says, hey, please don't open this, sorry. Well, if somebody opened it, you're at risk, and your system is at risk. How about, do you provide cell phones or laptops for any of your employees?
Yeah, we do actually.
And what happens if they lose one?
I actually keep my fingers crossed that they're not going to lose it. But actually, with our agency, if one of our employees does lose a cell phone and they have our software on it, after 10 times of trying to log into it, the whole phone wipes all data.
What about your laptops?
That, I really can't speak about, Katie. I've had an issue with my laptop where I got locked out of it. And pretty much everything got reset. I had to go through different avenues to get back into it. It wasn't breached or anything. I just forgot the password. But yeah, laptops, we do allow employees to access our system via laptops.
Do you accept credit card payments on your website?
Fortunately, no, we don't. But you know what? It's something we've thought about. and I know a lot of other companies are, that it's the future. Are you accepting clients, going on and being able to pay? So right now, no, but it's always a possibility down the road.
That's another big loophole that needs to, big opening for a cyber criminal to get in. And how about a cleaning person? Does anybody clean your office?
Yeah, every day. We actually, it's funny you say that because we harp on that, client data is not left out, because we do have a cleaning crew that comes in here nightly. And we want to make sure all desks, all policies are put away, not left out in the open, no client data is left out. We're actually pretty much paperless, so we want to make sure we try to scan it into our system, because we are using a T server, which is out there in the internet world.
But all of those things are ways that you need to think about that people can get into your system. So
I never realized. I never really thought about just the mobile equipment, the cell phones, the laptops, and the emails. Now that you're saying it, we do. We definitely have gotten some emails internally where we think they're from clients, but they're actually viruses. And we've sent them to our IT company, and they said, "Thank goodness you didn't open it, because that one would have been a doozy."
So there's lots of ways that people can get in these days into your system. And this is a nice little chart. It gives you an idea of how the percentages of how people or cyber criminals are getting in. Obviously, the big one are people hacking into your system, like you said, those phishing emails, those kind of things. There's also the lost and stolen devices, laptops, cell phones, anything like that. Rogue employees are a big one if they're trying to either skim money out of your accounts, I guess, or just they got fired and still had their login information and decided they were going to take it out on you.
That's a scary one.
So we got to be careful about that. But one of the things is a lot of the more data that comes out and the more research that's done on these attacks is that actually small businesses have a much larger exposure than your big businesses like Target. We hear about those because they're so large, but the cyber criminals have figured out that small businesses are much easier to target because for a couple of reasons. They don't have the security features, and if they do the ransomware, it's usually cheaper for the small business person to pay the ransom than to pay a computer person to try to undo what they've done. So
that's scary, being a small business, ourselves, that, we're more at risk than the Targets of the world or the Home Depots. And, it could definitely be crippling to a business.
It definitely can be.
All right. So now we're talking, small businesses are at risk, but really what truly is at risk for your company? What truly could happen to your company? So you got a couple of different avenues to look at. One, you have the financial cost to resolve the issue. So you have the soft cost, and a lot of people, we keep track of our back office, or the soft cost, the human hours. Well, what if it takes 10 hours to fix the problem? Well, that's 10 billable hours that you basically have to write off as an expense because your employee's not transacting in a positive way for your business. They're trying to fix the problem. Hard cost. This is where it gets a little scary. The average cost for a lost or stolen record, this is just one record, is $141.
So what exactly is a record?
It could be anything from a social security number, date of birth, address, any client data really is what it is. Any client data can be considered a record. And when you figure out if you have tens of thousands of records, that's going to add up very quickly. Roughly, if you had 10,000 records, that's $1.4 million that you're on the hook for.
Clients and employees too, right?
Yes.
Past employees.
So it's all records, like you said, Katie, both employees and customers. Then you have the lost business. And this is really one of the biggest doozies. And I think we could all say that when Target went through it, the publicity wasn't good. Or was it Equifax that it happened to as well? University of Maryland, my wife was part of that. She was a student there, and they were hacked. The negative publicity. If you're in the event of a breach, you have to notify your clients. And no one ever likes delivering bad news saying, hey, our systems were hacked. Your data may be compromised. I can't guarantee it, but you might be exposed. And now here's the big doozy of the whole thing that a lot of people don't realize, and I came to learn this too, is that every state has its own requirements for notifications. So if we're conducting business in the Mid-Atlantic region, we have to comply with every different state's requirements for notification. Some may be phone calls, some may be letters, some may be additional documents. And it gets very expensive to try to figure out what each state is requiring to do. Now you have the business interrupted. We went through our own little, I'm going to say try to attack, but our systems, we have a very, very robust computer IT system that, yeah, someone did actually click on a link, but our systems are so tight and buttoned up, it was not actually even to penetrate the firewalls and the sonic firewalls that we had in place. So we were able to get it, attack it, shut it down, and not a single thing was ever lost or breached. So granted, that's because, you know, we have to invest in that IT security because of the type of business we're in. Now, here's the reality of it though. We were shut down for a few hours. And I think everyone, you were here that day, Katie, we're running around saying, what happens to computers? You know, you lose business. Can you still transact? How, you know, we've become so dependent on computers in our business in today's world that if you don't have it, are you able to conduct business? You know, if you're a contractor, yeah, you can still go out and do it, but, you know, what if you're someone that relies on the invoices in your computer system? How do they get generated? You know, if you don't have a computer system, you got to rebuild it. So, you know, there's a lot of different costs to this, and it's something you got to think about.
Will you retain your clients if this happens and they find out? Because you have to notify them. Will they keep you as a service provider because, you know, this happened to you? Do they lose some faith and some trust in you?
You know, that's you know, candidly my biggest fear with our clients after you see everything that's happened with Target, University of Maryland, you know, the Equifax things. You know, it's really your data is just out there in the middle of nowhere. What are they doing to protect it? You know, we do everything we can. We spend a, you know, significant amount of money to make sure our client data is protected, because we don't ever want to have to go to a client and say, hey, you know, our system's failed. We don't want to do that. We want to sit here in front of you and say, our system worked. Our system shut it down. It was impenetrable. Nothing got through. And that's what we want to deliver. And that's what we want to help companies set up. We can't do it on the IT side. You know, we do have some companies we deal with, but there's a lot of good IT companies out there. So now Katie's going to make fun of me here because I have my three-legged stool approach. So what is a three-legged stool approach to protecting your company? The first one is aligning yourself with the right IT company. So we aligned ourselves with a company that's very knowledgeable of the insurance industry. So they know the client data we're protecting. They know the type of emails. They know our business inside and out. So they're able to set up the proper systems. So one leg of the stool is having the right IT company. Second leg of the stool would be cyber liability insurance. Yes, you can buy insurance to cover this exposure. Can it be expensive? Candidly, yes, it can be. But you know what? I think a breach of $1.4 million is a lot more expensive than paying a few $1,000s for insurance. And then employee training. When you partner with an IT company to do training and raise awareness inside your organization, now you have that first line of defense. Now you have your employees looking out for those phishing emails. Really quick story about this. I used to work for Erie Insurance, and I don't know if I ever told you this story. They hired the world-renowned hacker. He went from bad to good. And he was going in and he was helping these large Forbes company, 500 companies. And they would hire him and they'd say, can you please tell us where we're exposed? And he'd go in and he'd actually pick apart the company. Everything from the ID badges, which a lot of people don't think about. So when you talk about someone getting access to your system, he was able to identify a lot of companies that have ID badges. They get stolen because they can be scanned and they can be duplicated, and now you're allowing someone into your office that can easily get into your systems. So now they're behind one of the hardest walls to get through is the shell of your company. Exactly. So again, you just got to partner with the right companies, and you got to really raise awareness in your business. One of the things that we harp on in our office is pay attention to every email that you get. before you click on it, before you open up any attachments, look at it. Does it make sense? By doing that, when we had that email come in, it was identified within seconds. We had our IT company on the phone saying, hey, red alert here, we have an issue. So that's my three-legged stool approach. Now, one of the legs that we will speak more about, and again, this is just going to be a high level, is cyber liability insurance. Now, these are just some very high-level coverages. Not all insurance policies are going to cover this, so I just want to caveat that. But they're going to help you provide legal fees, the forensics to find out what happened, what was stolen, the client notification costs. Again, we saw it was $141 average right now. So they're going to help you figure out what states you do business in. And they're going to say, okay, this is what we got to do for New York. This is what to do for Maryland. Yeah. Credit monitoring. Unfortunately, I think a lot of us have Target credit cards. They had to provide 12-month credit monitoring. So did Equifax. That's something that you have to do. The public relations, this is a huge thing. They're going to help you to try to minimize the damage in the public.
You basically get your own team with one of these policies. Should something occur and you have a claim, you get your own cyber team that helps you restore all of this, put it back together, and guide you through the process. Because that's what we hear from individuals when they have their identity stolen, is just the time and energy it takes just to jump through everything because they don't know where to start and what to do. This actually gives you that person access to that person or team of people to help you through that experience.
Kate, that's a great way to think about it. The cyber policies, you're getting the experts in the industry. You're getting the people that know how to fix the problem, that know how to deal with the client-facing problems. They have the legal, the lawyers. You're bringing in a team of experts. So basically, for a few $1,000s, whatever the cost of the policy is, you're getting the experts in the industry to handle an event if anything ever happens. It could also provide business interruption. Katie, does normally your normal GL, general liability policy, cover a cybersecurity interruption, business interruption?
No, that wouldn't be.
So now your business would be even more exposed if you're shut down because of a cyber attack. This business interruption coverage can be afforded under the cyber liability policy. Digital data recovery, rebuilding your system, rebuilding the software, ransomware coverage. This is everyone's heard of CryptoLock, as I said before. This is the one that Katie was talking about before, where they get into your system, they literally hold your system ransom. And they say, and I've actually heard cases where the IT company said, pay the ransom because it's cheaper to fix it, and let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that they release your data. Then you have the third-party coverages. That's the client-facing, the privacy liability. The failure to protect private confidential information, defense for regulatory actions, and coverage for fines and penalties. There's additional coverages. Again, these are just some of the higher level. Now, Katie was talking about how our businesses are exposed, and one of them was, rogue employees. What if accidentally, someone gains access to your computers and steals money out of your bank account, out of a business account, or they trick a financial institution like Wells Fargo into releasing your money, or an employee, and they say, hey, you owe us, $10,000 for this invoice, and the employee thinks they're paying the bill, but really it's just a hacker. So there's different coverages that are going to be afforded. There's a few main carriers that play in this space that afford these coverages. They're all great carriers. They've all aligned with the proper experts in the industry. And again, they can tailor the policy to your needs. Now, one thing I want to talk about just really, really quick, one of the biggest concerns is the cost of the cyber liability policy. Now, it really comes down to the type of records you have and the records you're holding and how many records you actually have in your office. Like a medical billing facility is probably going to be one of the most expensive risks, because think about the data they're holding. They have everything on us. When you go to a hospital and they transfer over your medical records, there's everything about you in there. Social security numbers, dates of birth, prior addresses, everything. So that's going to be more towards the expensive end. But then you're going to have other businesses, contractors, smaller businesses that are not holding social security numbers, but maybe they're holding client payment data.
Driver's license number. numbers.
Exactly. So again, the
Payroll
cost.
systems, if you have your QuickBooks and you have all of that in there because you're paying your employees on your own, you've got their bank account information and their social security numbers.
So, again, now the exposure is a little different and the cost is probably going to change a little as well. But either way, I think we can all agree, if you have 10,000 records and they average $141, a $1.4 million claim is a whole lot more than what the cyber policy is going to cost. It's going to be significantly less. The few $1,000s is obviously going to pay for itself, and that you're going to have the experts at your fingertips just on the other end of a phone call away. So this is just kind of bringing it full circle. We're going to open it up to questions if anyone has anything. Again, we were just trying to hit this at a very high level to introduce this to everybody. And let's see, Katie, do you have any questions so far?
Doesn't look like it yet.
I guess we're just that good.
Matters people are now overwhelmed.
So here's what I would say. This is going to be a topic that we're going to be bringing to a lot of clients or to our clients. And we want to raise awareness on it because this is one of the rising claims in the insurance industry. And we want to make sure businesses are properly protected. I'm a firm believer of if you're going to offer something to somebody, you should have it yourself. So for instance, we do have a very large cyber liability policy because we want to make sure we're protected and we want to make sure our clients are protected in the event if anything ever happens. That's our promise to our clients. So Katie, I guess if we don't have any questions.
I do want to let everyone know that we did record this. So if you want to show it to anybody else or missed something and you want to go back and see it again, we will be posting it to our agency website.
Excellent.
So feel free to share it or go back and review it. And
I think you can also email it out too, right?
we will try.
All right. Well, we're going to try. We're going to try. We'll try to email it out. And again, tune in next month. We're going to have another Q&A session with RNA. It's going to be Katie and Anthony coming at you live. All right, everyone. Make it a great day.